You ever spend years building something you thought would last forever, only to have it ripped away while you were out earning the money to keep it alive? I remember the first time I laid eyes on the house. It was nothing special back then. Just an old two-bedroom fixer-upper with warped floors, peeling paint, and a roof that sagged like it had given up decades ago. But the moment I stepped inside with Erin, I saw something else. A future. A home. A place where we could build our life together from the ground up. She was the dreamer. I was the doer. That was the deal from day one. Erin had the vision, paint swatches, Pinterest boards, wild ideas about skylights and garden boxes. I had the tools, the know-how, and a work ethic that came from a childhood spent helping my dad fix up rentals we never got to live in. We were a team, or at least, that is what I believed. The house was in her name. Her credit was better, and mine was still crawling out from the mess of my 20s, some debt, some missed payments, life happening faster than I could keep up. She said it made sense that way. I agreed. I trusted her. Back then, I would have handed her every key to my life. We gutted that place down to the studs. Every weekend, every spare evening after work, I was in there, ripping out moldy drywall, laying tile, wiring new light fixtures, pouring concrete for a patio she said would be perfect for wine nights. I bled into that house, literally. Cut up hands, sore backs, long nights. We ran out of money more than once, so I sold my truck, took extra shifts, skipped birthdays and vacations. But when it finally came together, man, it was beautiful. White oak floors, open shelving in the kitchen, a reading nook by the window she loved. I remember the day we moved our mattress into the finished bedroom and lay there staring at the ceiling, smiling like we had won something big. I love this place, she said that night. So do I told her. I meant it. It felt like ours. Even though legally, it was not. That part never bothered me. Not until I came home from a 3-day business trip, duffel bag slung over my shoulder, and found the locks changed. I stood there, blinking at the unfamiliar SUV in the driveway, the unfamiliar man opening the door, asking if he could help me. I said, I live here. He looked at me like I had just announced I was from Mars. And that was when I checked my phone. Just one text from Erin. I sold the house. I think we need different things. And just like that, everything I built was gone. I just stood there, staring at the screen. Her message was short, so short it barely felt real. No explanation. No warning. Just a gut punch wrapped in polite words. I sold the house. I think we need different things. I read it again. Then a third time. My hand started to shake. I remember my fingers going numb around the strap of my duffel. The man at the door kept watching me, arms crossed, like I might be some kind of threat. I wasn't. I was just lost. I didn't say another word. I turned around, got back in the rental car, and drove 3 blocks down before pulling over and finally letting myself feel it. That was when the reality hit. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Tried again. Same thing. Then I texted. What the hell happened, Erin? No reply. I tried her sister. Nothing. I drove to her mom's house. Erin's old car was gone. Her mom opened the door and gave me this look like she was sorry, but not surprised. She said Erin was figuring things out. That was all she gave me. Figuring things out. I laughed. One of those dry, bitter laughs that scratches at your throat. I was gone 3 days. 3. I left Thursday morning for a work thing in Dallas. She kissed me goodbye at the airport. Told me she missed me before I even boarded the plane. And by Sunday night, I was homeless. I checked the county property records online that night. Took me about 5 minutes to find the listing. The sale had closed the day before I got back. She timed it that close. Had to be working on it for weeks. Maybe months. And I never saw a thing. She changed the locks. Cleared out my tools, my clothes, the photos on the fridge. Everything I owned was gone. Some of it she must have packed up and dumped somewhere. The rest? No clue. I checked our shared cloud drive. Empty. Our joint bank account? Closed. Phone plan? Canceled. She wiped me off the map like I was never there. I wanted to believe there was a mistake. That maybe she had some crisis, or a breakdown. That this wasn't really her. But no. This was too clean. Too smooth. She had planned this. She knew that house was in her name. She knew I had no legal claim to it. And still, I built it like it was ours. Now it belonged to someone else. Some guy named Brad or Brian or whatever he told me at the door. He was standing on the porch I poured myself. Walking through the rooms I sweated over. Sleeping in the bedroom I wired and painted and trimmed out by hand. The next morning, I went to a lawyer. Sat in his dim office while he flipped through my emails, texts, receipts. I showed him every photo I had of the work I did, every text between Erin and me talking about our renovation plans. He just shook his head slowly. You did the work, he said, but the deed's in her name. Legally, you don't have a claim. Not even for the money I put in? He sighed. Unless you had a written agreement. No. I am sorry, man. Emotionally, it's yours. Legally, it's hers. And that was when the second wave hit. She did not just blindside me emotionally. She trapped me, locked me out of my own life, and made sure I had no way back in. But the worst part? I still did not know why. After the lawyer told me I had no legal ground to stand on, I sat in my truck in the courthouse parking lot for what felt like hours. My duffel bag was still in the back seat, half unzipped, my shirt wrinkled from sleeping in it. I had not eaten, had not slept. I was running on nothing but rage and disbelief. And I still had no answers. So I started digging. I went back through our emails, texts, photos, anything that might give me a clue. The first thing I noticed was how far back this actually went. Weeks before my trip, she had stopped saying we when talking about the house. I think I will repaint the guest room. I want the kitchen to feel more open. I thought nothing of it at the time. Then I checked her calendar app, still synced to my old email. That is when I saw it. 3 appointments marked with a generic name. Meeting. Same day each week. Same time. Every Thursday. While I was at work, I looked up the address listed. It was a real estate agency. She had been meeting with a realtor behind my back, probably touring buyers through the house while I was out busting my back on job sites. That gutted me. Not just because she sold the house, but because she used me to stage it. All those weeks she was extra sweet, asking me to finish the tiling in the bathroom or hang the new barn door in the hallway. I thought we were just wrapping up our home together. She was preparing it for the market. I checked Zillow out of pure spite. There it was. 32 high-quality photos of our place. My place. All the little touches I added, like the cedar planter boxes I built by hand, the coffee bar nook I made from old reclaimed wood, the vintage light fixtures I spent weeks hunting down, all listed in glowing detail. I clicked through every single picture like I was looking at a crime scene. My tools were gone. My boots were gone. But my work? It was everywhere. She even kept the welcome home sign I made for her birthday 2 years ago. Hung it right by the front door like some kind of twisted tribute. And that guy, Brian or Brad or whatever, he bought it. He was living in it now. Probably thought he scored a great deal. Probably never even wondered why the previous owner left so fast. Why her boyfriend never came up in conversation. I scrolled through the listing again, furious. Then I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The buyer's agent? Same last name as a guy Erin used to talk about, her old coworker. The one she said was just a harmless flirt. That could not be a coincidence. I dug deeper. Searched the guy on social media. Bingo. Photos of Erin and him, grinning side by side, posted a few weeks after the house sold. New beginnings, the caption read. There it was. She did not just sell the house. She replaced me. While I was out grinding to support us, she was planning her exit. Renovating her life with my hands, my money, my sweat, and then walking out the front door like it was nothing. I sat there staring at that photo, and something just shut off inside me. No more begging for answers. No more hoping for an explanation. She showed me exactly who she was. And now, I had nothing left to lose. That night, I packed everything I had left into the back of my truck. What little was not in that house, my tools, some old clothes, a tent, my dog-eared notebooks full of sketches for projects I never got around to, fit into the bed like it belonged there. I stared at it, thinking, this is it. This is what I have left after 5 years with her. I had nowhere to go. No apartment lined up. No couch waiting. But I had enough saved for a few nights at a cheap motel. I booked 130 miles out of town and left my phone on airplane mode. I needed silence. No distractions. Just enough space to hear myself think. And honestly, for the first time in months, I did. I sat in that tiny motel room with yellowed curtains and a broken lamp, and I wrote. I listed everything I had lost, not just the money or the house, but the trust, the years, the belief that love meant building something together. Then I flipped the page and started a new list. What do I still have? I had my hands, my skills, my tools. I knew how to build, fix, renovate a hell. I could turn a shed into a palace if I had to. And more than anything, I had no one holding me back now. No one to convince. No one to babysit emotionally while I chased their dreams instead of mine. That is when it clicked. I was done fixing up someone else's life. I was going to build mine. The next morning, I went to a coffee shop with Wi-Fi and posted a message in a local contractor forum, skilled in flooring, framing, tile, electrical, looking for side work. Cash jobs preferred. Within 2 hours, I had 3 replies. Within a week, I had a waiting list. Most of it was small jobs at first. Patchwork stuff, backsplash installs, porch repairs. But I treated every single one like it mattered. I took before and after photos. I asked clients for reviews. I poured myself into it, not to prove anything to Erin, but to prove something to me. Word spread fast. 1 job led to 5. 5 turned into 10. By month 3, I was working 6 days a week, sleeping in a cheap rental above a garage, eating ramen again like I was 22. But I was free, and I was focused. One night, while scrolling through those old renovation photos, I had an idea. A bold one. If I could build her dream home from a pile of rotting drywall, why not do it again? But this time, it would be mine. Not just a home, something bigger. A business. A brand. I bought the domain name that night. Sketched a logo on the back of a pizza box. Chose a name she never would have approved of, because it was not soft or trendy or cute. I called it Second Nail Construction, because that is what I felt like. Not the first choice. Not the polished one, but the one who held everything together when it mattered. And now, I was going to rebuild everything. From the dirt up. It was almost a year later when I heard from her again. I had just wrapped up a porch rebuild for an older couple who insisted I stay for dinner, meatloaf, mashed potatoes, the works. The kind of meal that reminded me of simpler times. I was sitting in my truck afterward, full and tired, scrolling through text from new leads when I saw it. Her name popped up like it never left. Simple. Cold. Hey, can we talk? I stared at the screen. I had deleted her number, blocked her on every social. But somehow, the message still came through. Part of me wanted to throw the phone into the woods. But curiosity is a tricky thing. I clicked her profile. She looked different. Not physically, still the same Erin with that too perfect hair and the way she always angled her chin in photos. But the light was gone. That glow she used to fake so well? It looked cracked now. Dim. I ignored the message. She tried again the next day. Then again the next week. Please. Just talk to me. Still nothing. Then one morning, I came out of the supply store to find her car parked behind mine. She was leaning against the hood, arms crossed like this was some reunion scene out of a drama movie. I almost laughed. You have nerve showing up here, I told her. She smiled like she thought I was joking. I just wanted to talk. I heard about your business. Looks like things are going well. I said nothing. She kept going. I have been thinking a lot about what happened. What happened? Like it was a misunderstanding. A scheduling mix-up. Not betrayal. I made a mistake, she added. Still, I said nothing. I was confused. Things with him, they fell apart. He turned out to be someone different. I cut her off right there. No, you turned out to be someone different. Or maybe you were always that person and I just did not want to see it. She blinked. That hit her. Good. Then she said it. I miss you. That word used to carry so much weight. Now it felt paper thin. You miss what I gave you, I told her. The free labor. The comfort. The man who would work himself raw so you could live in a Pinterest fantasy. She looked like she wanted to cry, but I had no tears left to give her. I saw the house, she said, quietly. He sold it. Gutted it. Tore out everything. I shrugged. That is what happens when you hand your dream to someone who did not build it. She stepped closer. Do you ever think about what we had? Sure, I said. Every time I lift a hammer. Every time I walk into a house that needs love. I remember what it felt like to give everything to someone who saw me as disposable. She flinched. I am not here to fight, she said. I just want to know if there is a way back. I let that hang in the air for a second. Then I gave her the truth. You already walked out the door. And I finally stopped leaving it open. I got in my truck, shut the door, and pulled away. In the rear view, she was still standing there. But for once, I was not looking back. About 6 months after I walked away from her in that parking lot, I got a call from a new client. Big job. Full home renovation just outside the city. They had found my website, liked the before and after shots, and said they wanted someone who really cares about the work. We set a date. I packed up the truck, loaded my tools, and drove out. And the second I turned onto the street, my stomach dropped. I knew the neighborhood. I knew the house. It was my house. Well, hers. The one I had gutted and rebuilt. The one she sold out from under me while I was gone. but it did not look like it used to. The new owner had changed everything. Painted the cedar siding some awful shade of blue-gray, replaced the beautiful handmade front door I installed with a bland prefab thing, and ripped out the flower beds Erin and I built by hand. I sat in the truck, unsure if I should even go in. But curiosity got the best of me. A woman opened the door. Her name was Maria. She was in her early 40s, warm smile, the kind of homeowner who wanted to be involved in the process. She led me through the house, explaining her vision. She had just bought the place after a bad divorce. Said the bones were good, but the vibe was all wrong. Cold. Empty. It did not feel like home. I nodded, pretending I had not laid every plank of that original hardwood with my own 2 hands. She showed me the kitchen. I want to open this up, she said. Feels like someone just forced a look on it. I looked at the countertops. They were still the same ones I installed. Somehow untouched. You can do better than this, I told her. And that is when something clicked. I was not mad anymore. I did not care that Erin had erased me from the deed. I did not care that this woman lived in what I once called home. Because the truth was, that place was never really mine. Not in the way that mattered. Maria asked if I could handle the full project, kitchen, bathrooms, maybe a home office build-out in the garage. I smiled. Absolutely. Over the next 3 months, I tore down the last remnants of my old life and built something better. Every tile I laid, every cabinet I hung, it felt like closure. Like I was peeling her off the walls. Off me. Maria paid on time. She said thank you. She made coffee some mornings when I came early, asked about my business, and referred me to her friends. No games. No hidden agendas. On the final day, she handed me an envelope with a tip and said, "You do more than build houses. You make places feel safe again." That hit harder than she knew. I stood out on the curb afterward, staring at the finished product. It did not look like my old house anymore. It looked like hers, the way it should have been. And in that moment, I finally let it go. I got in my truck, turned on the radio, and drove away. Not just from the house, but from everything that came before it. A week after wrapping up that house job, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Just my name, written in pen on the front like it came from someone who still believed in handwriting. Inside was a small envelope and a folded piece of lined notebook paper. I almost tossed it, but curiosity wins sometimes. The letter was from Erin's mom. I had not heard from her since the day she opened the door with that look. Half pity, half indifference. But now, out of nowhere, she was writing to me. It started formal. Too formal. I know I have no right to reach out to you, and I will understand if you never respond. But there are some things I need to say, and I hope you will let me say them this way. That alone was enough to stop me in my tracks. She went on to explain that she had recently found out what really happened with the house, and that Erin had not just sold it behind my back. She had been planning to do it for months before the trip. Apparently, Erin had already moved in with the other guy before I got home. And then came the part one did not expect. The man she left me for? He cleaned her out, took her money, wrecked her credit, and vanished. Gone. The house sat unsold for weeks after the original deal fell through. Erin had to take a huge loss on it. According to her mom, she never recovered. Moved back home for a while. Tried therapy. Had a breakdown. She was not who she thought she was. The letter read. She pretended to be the woman who could build a life, but she never had the strength to do what you did. Build something real. Then, at the bottom, the words that stuck with me most. She may have lost a house, but you lost everything. And I know she never apologized for that. The envelope tucked behind the letter held a small photo. It was me, standing on the roof of the house, waving down at the camera with a goofy grin. Covered in sweat and dust, hammer in hand. Erin must have taken it. Before everything went to hell. For a long moment, I just sat there staring at it. Not because I missed her, but because I missed him, the guy in that photo. The man who still believed love and loyalty could build something unshakable. But that man was not gone. Just buried under anger and drywall dust. I folded the letter, slid the photo into my glove box, and drove. Not toward her. Not toward revenge. Just forward. About a month after that letter showed up, I was on another job. Small basement remodel in a town just across the county line. Nothing flashy. Framing out walls, running some low-voltage wiring, replacing a busted sump pump. Dirty, honest work. My favorite kind. I was wrapping up for the day, loading my tools into the back of the truck, when I heard someone call my name. Not Mike like my clients call me now, but Mikey, a name I had not heard in years. I turned. There he was. Jeremy. My best friend from back when things still made sense. Before Erin. Before the house. Before life got so damn heavy. We had not spoken in years. Not because of a fight. Just drifted. Life does that sometimes. You get pulled into work, relationships, trying to survive, and suddenly the people who once knew everything about you are just names and old photos. But now he was standing there in worn-out jeans and a faded hoodie, looking just as surprised as I felt. We ended up grabbing a coffee at the gas station down the road. Sat outside on a cracked bench, sipping cheap brew, talking like no time had passed at all. Eventually, Jeremy leaned forward and said something that caught me off guard. I heard about Erin, and what she did. I didn't know back then. But if I had, man, I would have stepped in. I nodded. Appreciated. Water under the bridge now. He looked at me for a second, like he was deciding whether to keep going. Then he said it. You know, she tried to reach out to me. That stopped me cold. Tried to get me to talk to you, he added. Said she wanted to explain herself, but thought you'd only listen if it came from someone you trusted. I laughed. Bitter. Dry. She's got a funny idea of trust. Jeremy nodded slowly. That's not even the wild part. He pulled out his phone and tapped a few times, then held it out. It was a screenshot. A message from Erin, sent months ago. And in it, buried in between the guilt, the excuses, the vague apologies, was something else. She admitted she never sold the house for the money. It was not about a better future or a new life. It was about control. She wanted you to feel what she always felt, Jeremy said. Powerless. I felt the air shift around me. All this time, I thought she was just chasing something better. But the truth? She was tearing me down because she could. Because deep down, she knew I was building something real, and she hated the parts of herself that could never do the same. That changed everything. Not because it hurt more, but because it finally stopped hurting. I handed Jeremy back his phone and said, Thanks, man. He looked confused. For what? For confirming what I already suspected, I said. And for showing me just how far I've come. Because I had. I was not the man sleeping on a motel mattress anymore. I was not the guy begging for an explanation. I was not the one holding out hope. I was building my life again. And no one was going to bulldoze at this time. It was late one night, just past midnight, when I got the email. Subject line, business proposal. I almost deleted it on reflex. Thought it was spam. But the sender's name stopped me. Bennett and Vale Group. That was a serious name. A big one. One of those real estate investment firms that buys up fixer-uppers, flips them into magazine homes, and sells them to people who say things like, let's do brunch, without irony. The message was short, polite. They had heard about second nail construction. Said my work had come highly recommended. They were looking for someone with my attention to detail and grit for a new partnership venture, one that involved restoring old homes with historic character in up-and-coming areas. I stared at it for a long time. A year ago, I would have jumped at the chance. Hell, a year ago I would have mopped their floors just to get my foot in the door. Back when I thought working for someone else's dream was the best I could do. Now, I had my own thing. Small, yes, but mine. Still. I was curious. So I agreed to a meeting. The guy they sent was smooth. Pinstripe suit. Pocket square. Spoken calm, practice tones. Called my work raw craftsmanship, like it was some kind of trend. He laid out the numbers. 6 figures. Upfront investment. Exposure, branding, potential to grow fast. They wanted to buy into my name, slap it on their properties, and scale the business. On paper, it looked like a dream. But here's the thing. Dreams built on other people's blueprints fall apart the same way my first one did. He handed me the packet and said, take your time. Think it over. And I did. I thought about the long nights alone in the motel. I thought about the first porch I rebuilt with $50 to my name and a bag of borrowed screws. I thought about Erin, how she once told me, you dream too small, Mike. You could do more. But this time, it was not about proving her wrong. It was about proving me right. So I called the guy the next morning and gave him my answer. Respectfully. I'm going to pass. He paused, clearly surprised. Mind if I ask why? I told him the truth. I already built something from the ground up. I lost it. Then I did it again, this time without anyone's name on the title but mine. And I am not handing it over for a paycheck, no matter how big. He thanked me. Wished me luck. And that was that. I sat on my porch that evening, my porch, on a little rental cabin I had just finished restoring out in the woods. I had my boots off, cold beer in hand, and the sound of wind rustling through the trees. No boardroom. No deal. No spotlight. Just peace. I looked around and realized something. For the first time in a long time, I did not want anything else. It happened on a random Tuesday. I had just finished patching drywall at a widow's old farmhouse. My jeans were dusty, my hands were raw, and my shirt clung to me from the humidity. I stopped at the diner near the highway, the kind of place with checkered floors and the best coffee within 30 miles. I walked in, found my usual seat near the window, and when I looked up, there she was, Erin, sitting 2 booths over, stirring a cup she probably was not drinking. Her hair was tied back, face tired, eyes distant. She looked smaller somehow, like life had taken a few pieces from her and never gave them back. She saw me, and for a second, neither of us moved. Then she stood, slow and uncertain, and walked over. "Hey," she said. I nodded. "Hey." She did not ask to sit. Just stood there, like the weight of everything she never said was pressing down on her spine. "I heard about what you've done," she said. "The company. The work. I saw the website. Looks like you really built something." I shrugged. "Tried to." She looked like she was bracing herself. I was wrong. That was all she said. No tears. No excuses. No long-winded apology. Just those 3 words. I waited for the wave of anger, or sadness, or something, but it never came. All I felt was peace. Real, bone-deep peace. Because I finally understood that she had not broken me. She just forced me to find out who I was without her. And I liked who I found. "I know," I said. She nodded. Her eyes welled up, but she blinked it away. "I'm not asking for anything," she whispered. "I just wanted you to know." I reached for my wallet, pulled out a tin, and laid it on the table. Then I stood. "For what it's worth," I told her, "you helped me too." Her brow furrowed. "How?" "By walking away," I said. "You gave me a chance to do this right." She opened her mouth to respond, but I had already turned. I walked out of that diner into the sunlight, the kind that makes everything around you feel just a little warmer than it should. My truck was parked under a tree, paint chipped, tools rattling in the bed. It was not glamorous, but it was mine. I got in, rolled down the window, and for the first time in years, I did not feel like I was running from anything. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Somewhere in the rear view, there was a life I almost built for someone else. But out in front of me, there was a road I built for myself, and I was finally ready to follow it, all the way home.